ॐ श्रीगुरुभ्यो नमः। हरिः ॐ। एकदन्ताय विद्महे वक्रतुण्डाय धीमहि तन्नो दन्तिः प्रचोदयात्। ॐ भद्रं कर्णेभिः शृणुयाम देवाः, भद्रं पश्येमाक्षभिर्यजत्राः, स्थिरैरङ्गैः स्तुष्टुवागुंसस्तनूभिः व्यशेम देवहितं यदायुः। स्वस्ति न इन्द्रो वृद्धश्रवाः, स्वस्ति नः पूषा विश्ववेदाः, स्वस्ति नस्तार्क्ष्यो अरिष्टनेमिः, स्वस्ति नो बृहस्पतिर्दधातु। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। हरिः ॐ। या देवी स्तूयते नित्यं विबुधैर्वेदपारगैः, सा मे वसतु जिह्वाग्रे ब्रह्मरूपा सरस्वती। ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेदविभागिने, व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। निरञ्जनं नित्यमनन्तरूपं भक्तानुकम्पासुतविग्रहं वै ईशावतारं परमेशमीड्यं तं रामकृष्णं शिरसा नमामि। यथाग्नेर्दाहिका शक्तिः रामकृष्णे स्थिता हिया, सर्वविद्यास्वरूपां तां शारदां प्रणमाम्यहम्। विवेकजानन्दनिमग्नचित्तं विवेकदानैकविनोदशीलं, विवेकभासाकमनीयकान्तिं विवेकिनं तम् अहं नमामि। सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। नमोऽस्तु ते व्यासविशालबुद्धेः, उल्लारविन्दायतपत्रनेत्र, येन त्वया भारततैलपूर्णः प्रज्वालितो ज्ञानमयः प्रदीपः। अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः।
Sanatana Dharma is holding Satyam, therefore it is Sanatana. What is the Satyam this Dharma is holding on? Divinity of the Srishti and divinity of all living beings, divinity of human beings especially. The goal of human life is finding one's own divinity and divinity of all living beings and divinity of even the inert matter. Shrinvantu Vishwe Amritasya Putra is the clarion call of the Sanatana Dharma. Isha Vasyam Idagam Sarvam is the assertion of the Sanatana Dharma. Based on this Satyam, entire philosophy, theology, culture, rituals and way of life are designed in the Sanatana Dharma. From time to time, Sanatana Dharma is challenged by other perceptions of human mind. This seeing everything as divine doesn't allow humanity to cheat, to grab, to persecute, or to put anyone under its slavery. Freedom is the watchword of this Sanatana Dharma. This is not acceptable for all human minds. Whoever wanted to grab, cheat, conquer, and enjoy this creation, putting everything under their feet, motivated to challenge this Sanatana Dharma. This challenge was answered by the Guru Parampara from time to time. At the beginning of the Kali Yuga, Bhagavan Sri Krishna answered this challenge which has come from Kshatriya Kula. Then Bhagavan Vyasacharya has codified the Sanatana Dharma and its teaching in the form of Brahma Sutram and explained the Sanatana Dharma and its teaching in the form of Mahabharatam and 18 Puranas. After his period, about 2800 years, there was no big challenge for the Sanatana Dharma. But at the time of 400 BC, the challenge came in the form of Bauddha Madam and Jaina Madam. Then slowly it was neutralized by the Vaidika Dharma, by the Purva Mimamsakas. And at the end of this process, Bhagavan Shankaracharya came, gave place for all the perceptions of the humanity and again codified this Sanatana Dharma in the form of his own Bhashyams on Prasthana Trayam. It was a very grand contribution for the knowledge parampara. Bhagavan Shankara was considered as the embodiment of knowledge, as the manifestation of Bhagavan Shiva himself. Therefore, Bhagavan Shankara was considered as the reservoir of all the wisdom of Vedic Dharma. Shruti Smriti Purananam Alayam Karunalayam Namami Bhagavat Padam Shankaram Loka Shankaram. Shankaram Loka Shankaram. Bhagavan Shiva has taken this form of Shankaracharya for the sake of Loka Mangalam, Loka Shankaram, who happen to be the reservoir of all knowledge, which are given in the Shruti, Smriti and Purana. Shankaram, Shankaracharyam, Keshavam, Badarayanam, Sutra Bhashya Kritau Vande, Bhagavantau Punah Punaha. In Kali Yuga, these two acharyas are very important. Both are manifestation of the divinity. One is manifestation of Shiva Amsha, another is manifestation of Vishnu Amsha. Therefore, Shankaram, Shankaracharyam. Shankara has manifested as Shankaracharya. Keshavam, Badarayanam. Vishnu has manifested as Badarayanaha, Vyasacharyaha. What they did, one has codified, Vyasacharya has codified Brahma Sutras. Another one, Shankaracharya has explained through Bhashyas. Therefore, Sutra Bhashya Kritau Vande. But after the period of Shankara, the Sanatana Dharma came under the attack of Islamic conquest, which began in the 7th century, then followed by the Christian conquest in India, which began in the 15th century. And at the end of 19th century, the entire India and its Sanatana Dharma is in tatters. There was a fight between European nations to hold the world under their clutches. In India, there was a fight between Hindus, Muslims and Christians. Women and general public were always oppressed, and it was India with full of chaos. India lost its faith in spiritual nature of humanity. India forgot the goal of humanity. Because of this oppression, social harmony was disturbed, religious hatred was encouraged by the rulers so that the society will be divided, then they can rule the society. Goal of life is fixed by the rulers as enjoyment. Attaining God was considered as poetic fancy. English education was considered as the only worthy education. Therefore, all the patashalas in India were destroyed by Macaulay educational system. It happened in 1836. The same year, Bhagavan has manifested in the form of Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna to give the answer for all these problems. Because of this conquest, Indians relinquished spirituality and renunciation as goal of life. The grandness of Western or Christian conquest is they made the Indians to change their goal of life. They convinced Indian minds through various methods that what you consider as goal is nothing but fantasy. Up to Islamic conquest, Indians never changed their goal of life. Even though they were oppressed, they followed Hinduism, Hindu way of life, paying tax for that. The tax is called jizya. Even though I pay tax, no problem. I will follow my religion. I will hold my goal, life goal, like that. But Western materialistic conquest and Christian conquest made Indians to think that Christianity is the only religion, worth religion. The materialism, the enjoyment given by materialistic prosperity is the goal of life. Therefore, Indians themselves have withdrawn from ancient Gurukulas and they competed to admit their children in English schools. To study the Macaulay system of education, Indians' Vedic civilization culture are considered as primitive by Indians. Indians themselves have forgot their culture, their history, their glory. Imitating the West, Indian society has drifted aimlessly. Western politics, Western sociology, Western empowerment are considered as the renaissance in the society. So, the result is inner poverty in the mind of the Indian. Voluntarily, I rejected the Amritam and I started taking poison, considering it as tonic. Poison has its own effect. How you consider that, it doesn't matter. When it goes inside, then it starts its reactions. Similarly, when the Western culture, Western theology, Western materialism were accepted by Indian mind, within few years they found its emptiness. This inner emptiness has given frustration. Therefore, they were drifting aimlessly and they were in utter poverty without having any strength to resist this onslaught. Then came a divine power in the form of Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna. About this arrival, Swami Vivekananda Maharaj asserts in many places that the spiritual power which has manifested in the form of Sri Ramakrishna is something very, very grand, which can be superior even for Rama Avatara and Krishna Avatara and any other Avatara. I quote his assertion. At Calcutta, Swamiji says this in open meeting. I quote, "We read in the history of the world about prophets, avatars and their lives. These details come down to us through centuries of writing and editing of their own disciples. Through thousands of years of chiseling and modeling, the lives of the great avatars of yore come down to us. And yet, in my opinion, not one avatara stands so high in brilliance as that life which I saw with my own eyes, under whose shadow I have lived, at whose feet I have learnt everything, Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna." If you have eyes, you will see it. If your heart is open, you will receive it. If you are truth seekers, you will find it. Blind, blind indeed is the man who does not see the signs of the day. This boy, born of poor Brahmin parents in an out of the way village of Calcutta, about which village very few of you have even heard, is literally being worshipped in lands which have been fulminating against heathen worship for centuries. Whose power is it? Is it mine or is it yours? It is none else than the power which was manifested here as Ramakrishna Paramahamsa. Here has been a manifestation of an immense power, just the very beginning of whose workings we are seeing. And before this generation passes away, you will see more wonderful workings of that power. It has come just in time for the regeneration of India and to the whole humanity. Swamiji says this in open meeting. This is the assertion. How true it became, do you know? The present world has 196 countries. Out of them, 176 countries gained independence after the advent of Sri Ramakrishna. What is the force behind these independence movements in all these countries? The dignity of human being, freedom to live, freedom to think, and freedom to hold its values. Where from this inspiration came? Before 19th century, that is before 1900 AD, there were only 20 countries which were holding balance 176 countries as slave countries, looting, subjugating, and massacring. Human beings were sold as slaves for 500 rupees for male, 300 rupees for female adult. Human beings were considered as commodities. The British Empire alone was holding 60 nations which exist now as free independent nations. The French alone had 40 nations as slave countries which now exist as independent nations. Similarly, Dutch, similarly, Spain. Imagine the power which has bursted in the minds of the people, the power for fighting for freedom, from where it has come. This power which has manifested as Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna is the power behind the fighting for freedom. Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna's body disappeared from this world just after these 15 years afterwards. This movement gained such a force, because of which Swami Vivekananda Maharaj had to cross the ocean and go to the another part of the world, participated in the Parliament of Religion, which was convened to establish the Christian supremacy and Western materialistic prosperity. Swami Vivekananda Maharaj went there without invitation, without having any recognition, without having any credentials. And in that Parliament of Religion, like a lion, he roared. Like a lion, he roared. This is called speech in Chicago. I quote from that speech: sectarianism, bigotry, and its horrible descendant fanaticism have long possessed this beautiful earth. They have filled the earth with violence, drenched it often and often with human blood, destroyed civilizations, and sent whole nations to despair. Had it not been for these horrible demons, human society would be far more advanced than it is now. But their time is come, and I fervently hope that the bell that tolled this morning in honor of this convention may be the death knell of all fanaticism, of all persecutions with sword and with pen, and of all uncharitable feelings between persons wending their way to the same goal. Swamiji mentions indirectly this Islamic and Christian conquest as a demonic conquest, which has destroyed these nations, which has destroyed the cultures. Bhagavan has given solution for all the human problems in his own life, and Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna again re-established dharma in the society. Therefore, Swami Vivekananda Maharaj worships him. Thapakaya cha dharmasya sarva dharma swarupine avatara varishtaya Ramakrishnaya te namaha. The avatara varishtitvam in the form of its soft power. All other avatars might have established dharma in their society at their period, but it is all short living because it was established by force. Anything which is established by force will have short living. You can cut off the person's head in a few moments, but you cannot change the thinking pattern of the person. The same person will come back again with another sharira, with the same thinking, and becomes a threat to the society. That which could not be achieved by Bhagavan Sri Rama and Bhagavan Sri Krishna was achieved by Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna's life. Our elders used to say, it is easy to cut off the head, but not easy to change the person's head. That is why when Hiranyakashipu's head was cut, the same fellow came and troubled very Lord himself. As Hiranyakashipu, he troubled Lord's devotee. As Ravana, he troubled Lord himself. So, the solution for all evil is in the form of knowledge. And knowledge is the only power which appears to be soft, but that is the only power which will sustain this creation. Therefore, Bhagavan has completely given up violence portion of his avataratva. Paritranaya sadhuna vinashaya cha dushkritam is there. That was completely avoided in this manifestation as Sri Ramakrishna. There is no vinasha at all. Vinasha of ignorance will be there, but there is no vinasha of ignorant person. It is a very great achievement because all minds cannot learn immediately, but this manifestation has that patience to repeatedly teach to that evil person about his divine glory. Why he is evil? Because he has forgotten his divinity. So therefore, Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna established dharma in the society, which is in the form of sadharana dharma, vishesha dharma, and moksha dharma through his life. Sadharana dharma means satyam, ahimsa, aparigraham, asteyam, brahmacharyam. These are all 100% with Sri Ramakrishna. Ahimsa Murti, Satya Murti. You have to study his life, which was described by his own disciple, Swami Sharadanti Maharaj, and which was preached by Swami Vivekananda Maharaj. Both complete works of Swami Vivekananda and Leela Prasanga, the great master, written by Sharadanji Maharaj, will give us a glimpse of the greatness of this avatara. It is a really wonderful eye-opening for any mind which is holding to this book. That's what Swamiji told. If you are interested in the search of truth, you will see it. If you have opened your heart, you will see it, the grandness of this great avatar. So Bhagavan Sri Ram Krishna has established the Vaidika Dharma, claiming self-knowledge is the only goal of life. A human being, know yourself, then all your behavior, attitudes, convictions will change automatically. And Dharma is the way to gain that self-knowledge. Truth, purity, and Vyakulata, Mumukshutvam, yearning for gaining this knowledge, yearning to discover one's own divine nature are essential. And what is the way of life? Renunciation and service to the fellow living being. Every statement has a exemplary behavior in the life of Sri Ram. Every idea which is told in the Shastram is exemplified in the life of Bhagavan Sri Ram. Satyameva Jayate, Shastram says, you have to study Sri Ram Krishna's life. Yagenaike Amritattva Manashuhu, you have to study Sri Ram Krishna's life. So, Vedic scripture, Vedic teachings, and Vedic culture was re-established in his life. He openly rejected academic education. He told, I don't want to learn a bread-winning education. What a statement! In 1850, 1836 was his birth. 1850s, he was a mere 14, 15-year-old boy. When his elder brother asked, go to school and learn whatever others are learning so that you can get employment and earn money and live happily. Bhagavan Sri Ram Krishna refused to go to school. An education which is going to feed me, I don't want. Then what for education? Keep this scale, all our college education, school education are waste of time. Then his elder brother asked, then what for education? What education you want to learn? That education which will show me the truth. That education which will make me to live with truth. What is the truth? What is the truth? I will find out. So he had a question. People worship the Lord in idol, whether the Kali, Mother Kali is Mrinmayi or Chinmayi. Whether this form is made up of mud material or it is made up of Chaitanya. This was the question. He has verified the validity of Vedic teachings in his life by wonderful tapasya with all love for the humanity. He has declared being modern does not mean change of one's attire, dress, or change of one's external personality. Being modern means not accepting anything as truth without verification. Being modern does not mean rejecting spirituality without knowing what it is. Being modern does not mean accepting and following everything what is told by others. Being modern means putting oneself into inquiry, into examination, and finding the truth by oneself. Being modern means not to be slave to the sensory pleasures and body. Being modern means living as a free person, as a spiritual entity. Being modern doesn't mean to put others under your slavery. Being modern means worshipping them as divine manifestation. Being modern means not to accumulate and amass. Being modern means living a simple life without being slave to any person or object. Being modern means not to be slave for one's own mind and theology and customs of the society. He has rebelled against the custom which was followed in Hindu society. As a mere 5-year-old boy, he rebelled. There was one mother from socially backward caste whom he used to address as mother, who was the witness for his divine birth, who took care of him when he was child. Therefore, Sri Ramakrishna addressed her Dhani Mata. Her name was Dhani. She was rejected by the society, but he accepted her as mother. When there was a question, who will give Bhiksha during his Upanayana ceremony first? He told, I will take first Bhiksha from my Dhani Mata. As a Brahmin child, it is impossible even to think. When everybody objected, he told, this Upavita ceremony is a vow that I will follow the Veda Dharma. What is Veda Dharma other than holding to the Satyam? Since I consider this mother as my mother, and I have given word to her that I will take first Bhiksha during my Upanayana Samskara, I will follow that Satyam. He has rebelled. Everybody had to agree. And he rebelled against the age-old custom of considering female gender as lower one, not eligible to be the guide or a spiritual teacher. He has accepted a woman as a spiritual teacher. You read any Smriti Purana, the woman gender is always despised as a threat to the spiritual life of a male gender. But this man rebelled against this custom. Where it is told, go to the Upanishad. There were mothers who attained divinity by knowledge. So I will not only accept a woman as my teacher, I will accept my wife as my divine mother. What a rebellious idea. Demonstration of Vedic culture is nothing but this only, seeing everyone as divine. Generally, women are considered as the source of sense pleasure by their husband. But this husband is someone who considers that frame of a woman as divine frame. Not only he considered, he literally worshipped her, which cannot be imagined by any traditional wala. People are ready to worship image of divine mother when it is in material form, not in flesh form. These are the first incident in spiritual journey, in spiritual records of humanity. An opposite gender which is considered and despised as low is given the altar of divine mother. After that worship of Shodashi Puja, whole life he kept that respect to that wife. He never addressed Sarada Devi in singular. Considering a small girl has come, he told once inadvertently, Tui Jav, you go, in singular address, which is addressed to the children are at lower age. But when he found that it is Holy Mother Sarada Devi, immediately he went and go on asking for pardon repeatedly. Mother told, you did not see me, therefore the statement has come to Ijab. Keep it the tiffin box and go. Mother used to bring food for Sri Ram. Inadvertently addressed in singular. That was repented by great person. A woman who was carrying human filth on her head gets the prostration of Bhagavan Sri Ram Krishna. One day when he came out from his room, he saw a woman with human filth on her head. Everybody was turning their face in that temple complex. He saw her and ran towards her and prostrated to her. Mother, you are really divine mother. Mother alone can remove the filth of their children without any hesitation. What an attitude. And his love for fallen is simply wonderful thing. So these are all revolution. What is the foundation stone of Vedic culture? Perceiving everyone as divine in spite of various perceptions about that person comes to our mind. The person is perceived from various standpoints: physical standpoint, economic standpoint, social standpoint, caste standpoint, education standpoint, wealth standpoint. But none of them can determine the respect for that person which is due to him or her. Only one scale, he is divine. This is the foundation stone of entire Vedic culture. I respect you, Namaha Te, Namaste. This is the word uttered towards Bhagavan and the same word uttered towards any human being in the world. This is Vedic culture. Bhagavan Sri Ram Krishna simply exemplified all these Vedic culture, all these values in the Vedic culture in his life. Respecting others based on their divinity, respecting others based on their character, not based on their caste, creed, nationality, religion, and to live harmoniously with all living beings in spite of differences of opinion. Love for the Lord, love for the Lord's name, love for the Tattvam, love for the Satyam, love for the spiritual practices, love for the fallen. All are wonderful. You have to deeply study. Then only you will understand the meaning of Upanishad. What the Upanishad want to say is lived by Sri Ramakrishna. And this Guru Parampara is followed by Mother Sarada Devi. If Sri Ramakrishna is the embodiment of self-effort and human dignity, Mother Sarada Devi was the embodiment of love and accommodative nature. A dacoit can be father in a moment. A Muslim thief can be her child in a moment. You have to read that life. Holy Mother and her divine play by Chetanananda Swamiji. The great master which was written by Sharadanji Maharaj in Bengali language. Again, that book was translated by Saint Chetanananda Swamiji. These two books you have to read. Along with life of Swami Vivekananda and complete works of Swami Vivekananda. You will get the grandness of these two personalities, though manifested in two personalities, having one individuality, like Rama and Sita, like Radha and Krishna. Sarada Devi and Sri Ram Krishna represented one individuality. One side, the spiritual vigor, another side, motherly love. Her motherhood, spiritual motherhood, is very spontaneous. When her husband asked her to be mother, 18-year-old girl accepted her own husband as her child. How it is possible? If an husband asks his wife to be mother, which wife will accept? If he says to his wife, tomorrow onwards I am going to consider you as my mother, either she will beat or she will divorce. Sarada Devi's divinity is so intrinsic, without any planning, no teaching, no advice, no guidance, spontaneous, wonderful acceptance. Whole life she lived, keeping her dignity as mother for Sri Ramakrishna. Whenever she used to feed him, she used to consider Sri Ramakrishna's body or personality, physical personality as Gopala. She used to address Sri Ramakrishna Gopala. You know that? So, Sarada Devi's life was so grand, with all self-abnegation, hidden completely, no claim for anything, for any right. This is the direct challenge for the Western culture, which is based on human rights. Our Vedic culture was based on human duties and responsibilities, and it was forgotten and converted as a society which fights for rights without fulfilling its duties and responsibilities towards others. Everyone wants their right. Who will give? There must be someone to give that right. Na? The father wants right, son has to give. The son wants his right, father has to give. Both are fighting for right, like beggars. Who will give? Here, mother showed in her life voluntarily, with all love and affection, you give yourself. Self abnegation is the hallmark of her life. Not only that, being married is not an obstacle for spiritual life. If you are really interested in your life to be spiritual, even though you are an householder, you can gain this knowledge. An unlettered woman became the guru of great sannyasis like Swami Vivekananda Maharaj and others. Swami Vivekananda Maharaj used to shudder. Whenever he goes to meet Mother Sarada Devi, he used to have fear. When others ask, why? I am going to see Divine Mother. I am going to see Kali. Full recognition of her spiritual nature was there with Swami Vivekananda Maharaj. So, being in society as an householder is not an impediment. You also can find out your spiritual freedom. And she proved in her life, being female is not being competitor for male. This was the Western culture. Whatever male does, female has to do. That is called right. Women's right. You wear jeans pant, I also wear jeans pant. You drive auto, I also drive auto. They consider it as gender equality. Nonsense. Mother told, you are unique in this creation. Keep that uniqueness. Copying others' dress code or trying to do what others do does not make you as unique. So, female gender is not a competitor, but a contributor. And feminine virtues like compassion, serenity, courage, sweetness, service, self-control, all are exemplified in her life. These are very great power, but soft power. Being violent, arrogant, adamant, assertive, anybody can be, even female. In Mahabharata, you can find them. Some female are soft, some female are hard. That is not the way. Similarly, in male gender also, some are soft, some are hard. Duryodhana was hard, Krishna was soft. Who won the life? Kunti was soft, Draupadi was hard. Who won the life? Therefore, mother exemplified these great powers of these feminine virtues. They are especially called compassion, serenity, courage, and self-control. If a mother in the household is having self-control, all the people in the house will be with self-control. If she is avidya maya, the entire family is in avidya. If she is vidya maya, the entire family is in vidya. In Brihadaranyaka Upanishad, Yajnavalkya Rishi had two wives. One is avidya maya, another is vidya maya. Mother Maitreyi was vidya maya. So, Sarada Devi has brought out the same Vedic culture and performed a role being a female. And she reminded the female gender to keep their uniqueness. What is their uniqueness? Being the mother of even the gods. Even Bhagavan need a mother. A Bhagavan who comes without mother is not useful for the world. Narasimhamurti is not at all useful for the world. What he did, you tell. He came out of pillar, finished the one fellow, and showed his anger. The child came and pacified. We will handle the world, you please go. Go for yoga. He requested Bhagavan. That is why Bhagavan Narasimha is called the Yoga Narasimha. He cannot be Bhoga Narasimha. If he becomes Bhoga Narasimha, entire creation will be his Bhogam. Nor he can change the society with this form. What he will tell. So, an avatara requires a mother to be in avatar. That is the status of female gender. Never give up that. Because of these exemplified lives of these two great spiritual personalities, India got back its goal of life, and Veda was established as Pramanam again. You can see that. You read the history after the advent of Sri Ramakrishna and Sarada Devi, how many spiritual organizations came out and conquered the world by its Vedic thoughts. Just in 100 years. Even if it is in rudimental form, having one idea of Nama Sankirtan that has conquered the world, especially Russia and other places. Bhakti Vedanta movement, ISKCON, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, no philosophy. Other than Krishna, there is no place for anyone in the theology. Still, they could conquer. All Western countries are dancing with Hare Rama, Hare Krishna. And spiritual organizations like Divine Life Society, Chinmaya Mission, Ramakrishna Mission, all are after the advent of Sri Ramakrishna. So, relevance of Indian culture, Indian philosophy, Indian theology was declared as the grand and need of the hour by Swami Vivekananda Maharaj in the Parliament of Religion. And success in human life is not material prosperity, it is gaining inner freedom. That is why those nations who have material prosperity as their goal never get it. Always fighting. You take the history of America for the last 250 years, not a single year is without war. They involve in war wherever it happens. It is an astonishment when I studied the American history. Not a single year. I wanted to know whether any year is without participation in the war for America. Last 250 years. Till date, war is continuing. Weapon, both with weapon and with trade. If you don't bow down to me, I will tax you 50%. Trade war, it is called. Some war. Why? That culture doesn't have actual human goal. That is why Swamiji told to his disciples and sannyasis of this Ramakrishna mission, gain freedom, the spiritual freedom, and go to the other parts of the world and burst like a atom bomb. World needs India, Indian thinking, Indian way of life, Indian culture, Indian pujas, Indian celebration, and of course, Indian thinking mind. Now, what is the thinking quotient of America? Indian mind. Go and witness. Swamiji told. So, as long as we hold this Vedika Dharma in our life, the world will be at stay. This is the assertion of Swami Vivekananda Maharaj. When somebody asked, will India be destroyed? Because there was no hope during his time that India will survive as a nation. British claimed that we got land from 585 provincial rajas. We will give back their nation to them. There is no possibility of India as a single nation. You know that. In 1947, the country was divided into four. One portion of country was divided as Afghanistan, Western frontiers it was called. Another portion now Pakistan, another one is now Bangladesh. The balance also was given as independence for provincial kingdom. What do you mean by provincial kingdom? And 585 Rajas were the owners of this present day India. So keeping that conspiracy, British conspiracy in mind, one person asked, will India die? What a question. 50 years before independence of the nation. Because there was no hope for India to survive. There was no hope for this Vedic Dharma to survive. Because we ourselves have adapted the Western culture, Western mode of education, Western values, Western lifestyle, theology, everything. Christianity was considered as the only true religion by Indians. And there was a movement in Tamil Nadu, one fellow, E.V.R. Ramasamy, repeatedly request the British government, don't give independence, don't give independence. And when independence was given, he has celebrated it with all condemnation, raising the black flag. Whole India celebrated that political independence. Even though it is nothing, it celebrated. This fellow, who is claimed as man of reasoning, utterly crying, we don't want independence. We want to be slave under you. It is nice to be under British rule. Many Indians had that idea during independence. So neither Indian mind had a hope, nor other part of the world had the hope that India will survive. In that situation, when this question was asked, will India die? Then Swami Vivekananda Maharaj replies, I'll just quote, shall India die? Shall India die? Then from the world, all spirituality will be extinct. All moral perfection will be extinct. All sweet-souled sympathy for others will be extinct. All ideality will be extinct. And in its place will reign the duality of lust and luxury as the male and female. Lust is male, luxury is female. The duality of lust and luxury as the male and female deities, with money as its priest, fraud, force, and competition as ceremonies, and human soul as the offering sacrifice. Such a thing can never be. It will never happen. If there is any land on this earth that can lay claim to be the blessed Punya Bhumi, to be the land to which all souls on this earth must come to account for karma, the land to which every soul that is wending its way Godward must come to attain its last home, the land where humanity has attained its highest towards gentleness, towards generosity, towards purity, towards calmness, above all, the land of introspection and of spirituality. It is India. O India, forget not that the ideal of thy womanhood is Sita, Savitri, Damayanti. O India, forget not the God you worship is the great renunciate, ascetic of ascetics, the all renouncing Bhagavan Shankara, the Lord of Uma. Forget not that your marriage, your wealth, your life are not for sense pleasures, are not for your individual personal happiness. Forget not you are born as a sacrifice to the mother's altar. Forget not that the lower classes, the ignorant, the poor, the illiterate, the cobbler, the sweeper are your own flesh and blood, your own brothers. Our life, our lifeblood is spirituality. If it flows clear, if it flows strong and pure and vigorous, everything will be all right. Political, social, any other material defects, even the poverty of the land will all be cured if that blood of spirituality is kept in pure condition. Therefore, the national ideals of India are renunciation and service. Intensify her in those channels, and the rest will take care of itself. One vision I see clear as light before me, that the ancient mother has awakened once more, sitting on her throne, regenerated, more glorious than ever. Proclaim her to all, to the world, with the voice of peace and benediction. What an assertion. It goes on. Now time is over. Why I want to insist the history of religious persecution, the history of conquest of Semitic religion and materialism. What we get, what we have now is nothing but the Bhiksha of Bhagavan Sri Ram Krishna, Sharada Devi and Swami Vivekananda. With lot of struggle, with lots of sacrifice, with lots of human blood, Shastra still exists at this juncture also. We are indebted to their sacrifices. To every Hindu who refused to get converted, we are indebted. Even though he is an ignorant person in Shastra, he had that conviction, let me die than converting to other ideology. We are indebted to his blood. We are indebted to this Guru Parampara, beginning from Bhagavan Shankaracharya onward. Continuous Guru Parampara. Sometimes Bhagavan himself comes as an avatara in the Guru Parampara. Sometimes great acharyas come. Sometimes saints have. If you read the history of India, last 1500 years of history of India, you will find, in spite of all calamities, India is alive in its spiritual current, kept in the life of this great Guru Parampara. That was given new impetus by Bhagavan Sri Ram Krishna's advent, and it was declared to the world by Swami Vivekananda Maharaj. Swami Vivekananda Maharaj says, Shankaracharya has come to bring out the Upanishad from forest to mathas. I have come to take this Upanishad from mathas to the doorstep of every Chandala. I will not cease to work as long as the humanity finds that it is one with the Lord. What an asset! What a sacrifice! He says, I will repeatedly assume body and go through the physical pain in order to help this humanity to remind its goal. So we are all really fortunate to be born in this Sanatana Dharma, to be brought up in this Sanatana Dharma, or to be attracted by these ideals of Sanatana Dharma. So our only goal in life is finding our own divinity, and respecting others based on their divinity. Loving others, serving others based on their divinity. Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna asked Swami Vivekananda Maharaj, Naren, people go to temple to worship the Lord in Rupa, in Pratima, in statues and photos. Why can't the same Lord be worshipped in human body with flesh and blood? That question gave an answer. Shivajnane Jivaseva. Sarvam Kalu Itam Brahma. Sarvam Vishnumayam Jagat. Sarvam Shivamayam Jagat. Therefore, our life must be an exemplification of this ideal, struggling in our own way, trying to follow these ideals according to our strength, attracting at least 4 or 5 people in our family, attracting the people who live around us. Not to preach, but to live. The very life will be the preach. So with this idea, we will pursue the study of scripture, and with this, the basics of Vedanta class is finalized. From next week onwards, next Saturday, Janmashtami day, very auspicious day. So we will begin the study of Mundaka Upanishad. The more we remember the truth, the more we will be happy. The more we study the scripture, the more will be the clarity. Therefore only in Guru Parampara it is told, Ashubhani nirachaste tanoti shubha santatim smriti matrena yat pumsam brahmatan mangalam param. Mangalam param. It is the source of all mangalas. Very remembrance will give all. Ashubhani nirachaste. All amangalas will be destroyed. Tanoti shubha santati. Shubham after shubham will come to our life. One mangalam, then another mangalam, then another mangalam. We will be wondered, what is happening in my life? I am becoming so much happy, cheerful, free from sensory cravings. What is happening in my life? Like that, mangalam after mangalam will come by smriti matre, just by remembering the truth about ourselves, about this jagat, about the living being. So we continue this scriptural study with the prayer to this great avatara of the Lord Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna and Mother Sarada Devi to bless us and give this opportunity to continue this spiritual life as long as this body exists. Om Stapakaya cha dharmasya sarvadharmaswarupine avatar varishtaya Ramakrishnaya te namaha Jananim Saradam Devim Ramakrishnam Jagadgurum Padapadme Tayo Shatva Pranamami Muhurmuhu Namah Shriyati Rajaya Vivekananda Suraye Sachit Sukhaswarupaya Swamine Tapaharine Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Tat Sat Sri Ramakrishna Arpanamastu.
Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om Gananam Tva Ganapati Gambhavamahe Kavim Kabhinam Pamashavastamam Jeshwarajam Brahmana Brahmanaspata Anashrinvannoti Dasida Sadanam Mahaganapataye Namaha Prano Devi Saraswati Vajebhir Vajinihati Viram Vidyavato Vagdevyai Namaha Om Tejosi Tejomayi Dehi वीर्यमसि वीर्यं मयि धेहि बलमसि बलं मयि धेहि ओजोऽसि ओजो मयि धेहि मन्युरसि मन्युं मयि धेहि सहोऽसि सहो मयि धेहि ॐ त्र्यम्बकं यजामहे सुगन्धिं पुष्टिवर्धनम् उर्वारुकमिव बन्धनात् मृत्योर्मुक्षीयमामृतात् ॐ असतो मा सद्गमय तमसो मा ज्योतिर्गमय मृत्योर्मा अमृतङ्गमय ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः हरिः ॐ सहना भवतु सहनो भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः हरिः ॐ शन्नो मित्रशं वरुणः शन्नो भवत्वर्यमा शन्न इन्द्रो बृहस्पतिः शन्नो विष्णुरुक्रमः नमो ब्रह्मणे नमस्ते वायो त्वमेव प्रत्यक्षं ब्रह्मासि त्वामेव प्रत्यक्षं ब्रह्म वदिष्यामि नुतं वदिष्यामि सत्यं वदिष्यामि तन्मामवतु तद्वक्तारमवतु अवतु माम् अवतु वक्तारम् ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः हरिः ॐ यच्छन्दसां वृषभो विश्वरूपः छन्दोऽभ्योऽधिमृतात् सम्बभूव समेन्द्रो मेधया आशृणोतु अमृतस्य देवधारणो भूयासम् शरीरं मे विचर्षणम् जिह्वा मे मधुमत्तमा कर्णाभ्याम् भूरि विष्णुवम् ब्रह्मणः कोशोऽसि मेधया विहितः श्रुतम् मे गोपाय ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः हरिः ॐ तच्चैयोरावृणीमहे गातुम् यज्ञाय गातुम् यज्ञपतये दैवी स्वस्तिरस्तु नः स्वस्तिर्मानुषेभ्यः ऊर्ध्वम् चिगातु भेषजम् शन्नो हस्तद्विपदे शञ्चतुष्पदे ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः हरिः ॐ मधुवातारतायते मधुक्षरन्ति सिन्धवः माध्वीर्नसन्तोषधीः मधुनक्तमुतोषसि मधुमत्पार्थिवगुम्रजः मधुद्यौरस्तु नः पिता मधुमानो वनस्पतिर्मधुमागुमस्तु सूर्यः माध्वीर्गावो भवन्तु नः ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः हरिः ॐ वाङ्मे मनसः प्रतिष्ठिता मनो मे वाचः प्रतिष्ठितम् आविराविर्मयेधि वेदस्य म आनीस्तव श्रुतम् मे मा प्रहासीः अनेनाधीते नाहोरात्रान् सन्दधामि ऋतम् वदिष्यामि सत्यम् वदिष्यामि तन्मामवतु तद्वक्तारमवतु अवतु माम् अवतु वक्तारमवतु वक्तारम् ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः वामाङ्गानि वाक्प्राणश्चक्षुश्रोत्रमथो बलमिन्द्रियाणि च सर्वाणि सर्वम् ब्रह्मोपनिषदम् माहम् ब्रह्म निराकुर्याम् मा ब्रह्म निराकरोत् अनिराकरणमस्त्वनिराकरणम् मे अस्तु तदात्मनि निरतेय उपनिषत्सु धर्मास्ते मयि सन्तो ते मयि सन्तो ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः हरिः ॐ भद्रम् कर्णेभिः शृणुयाम देवाः भद्रम् पश्येमाक्षभिर्यजत्राः स्थिरैरङ्गैः स्तुष्टवागुंसस्तनूभिः यशेम देवहितं यदायुः स्वस्ति न इन्द्रो वृद्धश्रवाः स्वस्ति नः पूषा विश्ववेदाः स्वस्ति नस्तार्क्ष्यो अरिष्टनेमिः स्वस्ति नो बृहस्पतिर्दधातु ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः हरिः ॐ ब्रह्माणम् विदधाति पूर्वम् यो वै वेदांश्च प्रहिणोति तस्मै तगुंहदेवमात्मबुद्धिप्रकाशम् मुमुक्षुर्वै शरणमहम् प्रपद्ये ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः हरिः ॐ पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदम् पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः ॐ सहनाववतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यम् करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः हरिः ॐ श्रद्धयाग्नः समध्यते श्रद्धया विन्दते हविः श्रद्धाम् भगस्य मूर्धनि वचसा वेदयामसि प्रियग्श्रद्धे ददतः प्रियग्श्रद्धेदिता सतः प्रियम् भोजेषु यज्वसो इदम् न उदितम् कृधि यथा देवा असुरेषु श्रद्धामुग्रेषु चक्रिरे एवम् भोजेषु यज्वसो अस्माकमुदिदम् कृधि श्रद्धाम् देवा यजमानाः वायुगोपा उपासते श्रद्धागुम् हृदय्यया कूत्या श्रद्धया हूयते हविः श्रद्धाम् रात्रिर्हवामहे श्रद्धामद्यन्तिनम् परि श्रद्धागुम् सूर्यस्य निमृचि श्रद्धे श्रद्धापयेहमा श्रद्धा देवानदिवस्ते श्रद्धा विश्वमिदम् जगत् श्रद्धाम् कामस्य मातरम् हविषा वर्धयामसि ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः हरिः ॐ यश्छन्दसाम् वृषभो विश्वरूपः छन्दोभ्यो धृतात् सम्बभूव समेन्द्रो मेधया आस्पृणोतु अमृतस्य देवधारणो भूयासम् शरीरम् मे विचर्षणम् जिह्वा मे मधुमत्तमा कर्णाभ्याम् विश्रुवम् ब्रह्मणः कोशोऽसि मेधया पिहितः श्रुतम् मे गोपाय ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः हरिः ॐ मेधा देवी युषमानान आगात् विश्वासि भद्रासु मनस्यमाना त्वया दुष्टानुदमाना दुरुक्तात् बृहद्वदेव विदधे सुवीराः त्वया दुष्टऋषिर्भवति देवी त्वया ब्रह्मा गतश्रीरुतत्वया त्वया दुष्टश्चित्रम् विन्दते वसुसानो जुषस्व द्रविणो न मेधे मेधाम इन्द्रो ददातु मेधाम् देवी सरस्वती मेधाम् मे अश्विनामुभावाधत्ताम् पुष्करस्य च अप्सरासु शया मेधा गन्धर्वेषु शयन्मनः दैवी मेधा सरस्वती सामा मेधा सुरभिर्दुषतागस्वाहा आमा मेधा सुरभिर्विश्वरूपा हिरण्यवर्णा जगती जगम्या ओजस्वती पयसा पिन्वमाना सामा मेधा सुप्रतीका दुष्यन्ताम् मयि मेधाम् मयि प्रजाम् मयि यज्ञस्तेजो दधातु मयि मेधाम् मयि प्रजाम् मयि इन्द्र इन्द्रियम् दधातु मयि मेधाम् मयि प्रजाम् मयि सूर्यो वाचो दधातु ॐ हंस हंसाय विद्महे परमहंसाय धीमहि तन्नो हंसः प्रचोदयात् ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः हरिः ॐ नमो ब्रह्मादिभ्यो ब्रह्मविद्या सम्प्रदायकर्तृभ्यो वंशऋषिभ्यो महद्भ्यो नमो गुरुभ्यः सर्वोपप्लवरहितः प्रज्ञानघनः प्रत्यगर्थो ब्रह्मैवाहमस्मि ॐ सदाशिवसमारम्भाम् शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्ताम् वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम् ॐ नारायणम् पद्मभुवम् वसिष्ठम् शक्तिम् च तत्पुत्रपराशरम् च व्यासम् शुकम् गौडपदम् महान्तम् गोविन्दयोगीन्द्रमथास्य शिष्यम् श्रीशङ्कराचार्यमथास्य पद्मपादम् च हस्तामलकम् च शिष्यम् तम् तोटकम् वातिककारमन्यान् अस्मद्गुरून् सन्ततमानतोऽस्मि श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयम् करुणालयम् नमामि भगवत्पादम् शङ्करम् लोकशङ्करम् शङ्करम् शङ्कराचार्यम् केशवम् बादरायणम् सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः अशुभानि निराचष्टे तनोति शुभसन्ततिम् स्मृतिमात्रेण यत्पुंसाम् ब्रह्म तन्मङ्गलम् परम् ॐ स्थापकाय च धर्मस्य सर्वधर्मस्वरूपिणे अवतारवरिष्ठाय रामकृष्णाय ते नमः जननीं शारदाम् देवी रामकृष्णम् जगद्गुरुम् पादपद्मे तयोः श्रुत्वा प्रणमामि मुहुर्मुहुः नमः श्रीयतिराजाय विवेकानन्दसूरये सच्चित्सुखस्वरूपाय स्वामिने तापहारिणे कालिन्दीफुल्लकमले माधवेन क्रीडारत ब्रह्मानन्द नमस्तुभ्यम् सद्गुरो लोकनायक योगानन्द प्रेमानन्दश्चान्ये वैयेष पार्षदा रामकृष्ण गतप्राणा सर्वांस्तां प्रणमा